physical stuff is physical stuff. It's a signal. Your body's sending you a signal. Things hurt. Those are easy to fix, right? But the emotional part is something that you really have to manage. There were times where emotionally I just felt like this sucks. Why am I doing this? But then you have to remind yourself of what your end goal is. You're gonna fail, right? It's okay.
We are live once again, Ironman and Beyond members, busy high achievers all over the world. This is Coach Shangrila, and we have Vineta, and we also have Alex. I have Alex on the background. Today, we're going to talk about a very, very good topic. I think it's a timely topic, and I know that a lot of athletes are actually going to benefit today. All right, so let's check it out. Our topic today is getting back your old athletic self after years of no training, how to regain motivation, keep momentum going despite challenges, and build confidence in yourself. Anyone who can relate to this?
I think a lot of people can, especially with what was happening, with races being canceled not that long ago.
That was 2 years ago, 2020, COVID. And not just that, I mean, with the COVID and also like what's happening with work, family, there's just so many challenges. And so let's check it out. So let's get into more details. Like, what are we going to talk about today? All right. So today we're going to talk about how to fit workouts when you only have 1 hour training availability and very busy schedule. For example, if you're a dad or a mom, or you probably have double jobs, but you're just so very busy and you only have 1 hour a day, can you even actually train for triathlon? I mean, we're not talking about only, one sport. We're talking about swim, bike, and run. And for Alex here, who's joining us, he actually had only 10 weeks left until 70.3 Boulder. And he was coming from zero.
That's not a
very interesting how he did it. Okay. So the next one here, how to get started training after 7 years, or maybe, just even like after a couple years or after a few months that you're not training, how does it feel to actually get back and have that self-belief that you still got it, that you're, hey, this is a good thing and everything's going to be okay. Or like you're going to be motivated and stick to it. Okay. So we're going to talk about that. How to keep your self-belief strong and trust that you will be able to cross the finish line knowing you are coming from zero training, cramping, hurting during training, and don't have enough time to train.
I think a lot of people can relate to that one. It is very difficult to start from when you haven't been doing something. I mean,
yeah,
very tough.
Ironman and Beyond. I know we've talked a lot of you guys here in Ironman and Beyond group. So some athletes have like 12 weeks to go for 70.3 or 8 weeks even. Sometimes athletes would sign up without knowing what kind of training they have to go through. Okay. Or maybe you sign up for a while, but then just life happens and you didn't get the chance to actually train. All right. You got 10 weeks left. Are you still able to go through it? And what do you need exactly of what to focus? Okay. Are you able to go through with the mental, challenges? The question, and you asking yourself, can I still do this? Or should I just back out? Or should I, But, what's the right thing to do? Right? So let's see. We are also going to talk about what to do mentally to stay on track and solve when things are going wrong on race week. I mean, we want race week to be as easy as possible, but what if, you got altitude swim anxiety, sore knee, inflamed Achilles, maybe some digestive issues, or things are not just going going well the way you want it to be? How are you going to stay on track mentally? How are you going to be okay and stay relaxed? Okay.
I know, because you could just the first issue occurs and you're like, this is like a bad sign. Maybe I shouldn't do this, right? The self-doubt kind of kicks in and it could take you over, right?
So are you guys all excited to actually tackle this topic. So let's see who's new here. If you're new, say, hey, coach, I'm new and happy to be here. Hello and welcome to Ironman and Beyond. We do this live training almost every weekend. It's free and you can get the replay if you cannot attend. But we do announce this, usually the day before or the morning. Okay. But there's a lot of training resources in Ironman and Beyond. So make sure that you raise your hand, engage with us so we can actually direct to you like where the resources are at. Okay. And if you're listening to live right now, hashtag live. And if you're listening to replay, hashtag replay. So we know like what time you're actually listening. All right.
Yes, let me say hi to all the ones that are listening live.
Welcome.
Hi, Ed. Good to have you. Pam's
Ed,
here.
Pam.
Welcome.
Hello.
Miles is here. Fred's here.
Fred.
Hi, Nick.
Nick.
Hi, James.
Okay.
Hi, Kim. Awesome.
Wow. Several people already. Hello. Happy Friday, everyone. So today, this topic, I think a lot of athletes can relate, mainly because when you race and you sign up for whether that's 70.3 Olympic, or it could be any endurance race, like something would come up. Okay. So, or like if you are just getting back, like where do you start? I mean, do you go swim, bike, or run? Okay. Or
Yeah,
how about
which one? That's right. Like
how about
which one?
how about if you're not feeling motivated? Okay. Like, for example, you just got used to like, okay, just going to work, go home, spend time with the family. Family is important, right? But what about your old self? Let's just say maybe 10 years ago, you used to run a half marathon, but it's been a while. Okay. And maybe you gained some weight and, you're scared that you might get hurt, right? Like, how do you even get started? Or what would help you to actually stay on track? Because it's not easy. I mean, first you get started and the next thing is that to actually stay on track. And a lot of us don't even get started because they're afraid that they might just disappoint themselves. Maybe they're shooting so high. But then what if you don't start? So I think, do you guys like this topic? You guys are ready to go for it? Okay. So we do have Alex here from North California. And actually, he was once in Ironman and Beyond. We have not met him in person until now. Not yet. I hope soon. But I think we've known each other since 2018. Correct me if I'm wrong, Alex. Is it
2020 boot camp?
2022. Okay, so 2 years ago. So we have not met in person. He did our 30 days in boot camp online only, did well, learned a lot. And then now he's back. Say, coach, I got Boulder 70.3
coming up in 10 weeks.
But let's welcome Alex. How are you doing today? You just got off from work.
I'm doing really well. Yeah, I just got off from work. Grandma's picking up the kids, so I have some time to talk with you guys today.
All right.
So it's my pleasure to be here.
Okay, welcome, Alex. So congratulations, Alex. Your recent, you just crossed the finish line of Boulder 70.3. And it says there, from zero training to crossing Boulder 70.3 finish line with 10 weeks training. Man,
that's pretty impressive.
That's 10 weeks. How did you, before you reach out to us, what was going on with your life, your work, or how did you think, okay, I'm going to do this one, the 70.3 Boulder? What was going on with your life?
I mean, I'll kind of frame a time frame. The first time I did a 70.3 was in 2015 in Santa Cruz. And so I had previous training through Team and Training, and I completed that. And then I had a major jaw surgery to help fix a sleep apnea. And my plan was, okay, I got that half Ironman done. And, within 3 years after that, I was going to be back doing fulls and stuff like that. And at the time that I did 70.3, I was still pretty heavy, so like around 250 I raced at, okay. Or 250 pounds I raised at. So fast forward to 2020, I had done some Olympics, but I hadn't gotten back to the full full 70.3. So in 2020 I signed up for two of them. I signed up for Hawaii 70.3 and Boulder 70.3. Hawaii because I just like to race in Hawaii, and in Boulder because my sister is there, right? Or my little sister is there. And so that year, I had really got my stuff together. I had lost about 80 pounds. So like because I had ballooned up after even my surgery. So I went from like 280 to around 200 pounds, right?
Okay.
And so like, I was in the fittest shape of my life. I was ready to do 270.3s. And then I did this boot camp for swimming because that was one of my weakest points at the time. And that's how I came upon Feisty Fox, and I had a really good experience. So March of 2020, I'm ready to go 2 months to Hawaii. And
Yeah.
if we all remember what happened in March of 2020, as pandemic hit,
Yes.
right? So COVID hit. And so COVID hit, and then at that time I had met someone, and in the Bay Area, if anyone else lives in the Bay Area knows that a 3-to-1 guy to girl ratios makes things pretty competitive in the dating scene. And it's just hard to date. So I met someone, and there, long story short, we had this whirlwind romance. I'm 41 now, but at the time I was like 39. And so I met someone, long story short, we moved in together, all this stuff. We got pregnant, and then things fell apart. It turns out that she had bipolar disorder, things that she didn't reveal to me. And things became really verbally abusive to the point where she was threatening me with not seeing my child, right? And so,
Sorry.
it was a real, it was a real challenge, really tough situation in which, I had to look out not only for my, unborn son, but I had to make sure that I would be able to take care of him, right? Not only from a financial standpoint, from a physical standpoint, a lot of things. And, in the end of everything, I have custody. I bought a house for my son and I, and, now we live in this nice house, and, everything is good. So like the whole first year, it was just me and the kid. I've been with him every single day of his life. I've done every single overnight in his life. And, when he turned 1 back in February, that's kind of when I came to like a, kind of a breaking point all of a sudden. Like I was just like, oh, he made it to 1 years old. Thank God he's still alive. I'm alive. And now I can actually deal with all of this stuff, right? Because I was on fight or flight mode for basically 2 years straight, right? And I started, I came to the realization I just went through this huge traumatic experience. Like, how do I, what do I do now? Like, how do I get back to myself, right? And the number one thought in my head at the time of this birthday was, well, I really need to take care of myself so that I can be the best dad that I could be. I mean, that's always been the case. When I found out that, I was going to have him, and, things had turned south, my number one priority was like, I need to be healthy mentally and emotionally, and I can't do this with my ex, right? And so that's kind of how I came to be where I was in February. I got really kind of depressed. I ballooned up a little bit. Hawaii, I had been able to defer my 270.3s until this year, and then I missed Hawaii, right? And at that point, I'm like, well, what am I doing? I've ballooned up. I haven't been training. Like, how the hell am I going to do this? Like, who do I know? I'm an engineer, right? So who do I know can objectively tell me whether or not I can do this or not? Because, I was like, all right, I only got like 10 weeks to do this. I really need to do this for myself. I really need this confidence point so that I can, just have positive momentum, right? I mean, there were a lot of positive things going on in my life, but just like, still I didn't feel like myself, right?
Right.
And so that's when I approached Coach Shangrila and Vinetta, and we had a very candid conversation. I said to them, well, can I do this? Like, I haven't been training. I need some guidance. I need some help. I need some support, right? I think that's always an important thing for anyone is that when you're trying to accomplish something, that you check your ego at the door and you ask for some help, right? And that's why I approached them. I need help. I can't do this by myself. The number one thing that they could help me with was, tell me realistically, can I do this or not? Or should I reset my expectations and be like, okay, wait for next year or do something else, right? And that's when coach told me, she's like, well, I think you can do it. And I'm like, really? so I was like, well, okay. All right, let's go. Let's give it a chance. Let's go. And I decided to sign up and go for Boulder 70.3. And so that's kind of where I started. Yeah.
Thanks for giving us that story, Alex. So for those who are just tuning in, let me just repeat that actually of what a short version of it: a whirlwind romance, an engagement, a bad breakup, single dadhood, and home ownership reshaped my world. I felt lost. I was still recovering from trauma of everything. My reality had completely changed from just 2 years prior. A lot of changes had happened to Alex, from COVID. There's the whirlwind romance, got married, baby, bought a house, then single dad in just 2 years, and recovering from trauma of everything. My reality had completely changed from just 2 years prior. I was desperate to reclaim any sense of normalcy, and I needed help. Not only did I want to show myself that I could still do it, I wanted to be a hero to myself. So that's actually Alex. He wrote that as part of his race report. And basically, as you heard, he really wanted so badly. It's not necessarily just, finish a 70.3. It's for himself, for his health, mentally, emotionally, physically. He believed that he needed to take care of his health, especially for his son, his 1-year-old son. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I feel it really strongly when he said that I want to be a hero to my son. That's
huge.
That's huge. I mean, who doesn't?
Who wouldn't?
Who wouldn't want that?
Yeah. And I think one of those things that you actually had a hard time, Alex, and that dadhood, you have high expectation of yourself. You still had the hat of the previous one where okay, I need to really be good. But then we're coming from zero training, 10 weeks, right? And then so I had to ask you to readjust your expectation. I said, Alex, see this as an experience, a new experience. We're in, hey, this is going to be your first 70.3 as a dad. And if you're able to make it through, and I know you love the sport, and if you're able to make it through and be able to learn and grow throughout the experience, learning time management, being able to be compassionate to yourself, and still stay on track, no matter what the mental state that you're saying, oh, can I still do it, right? You're already a winner, even before you got to the start line of Boulder 70.3. I'm having goosebumps because I think that was big. It's a reframing one's mindset, expectations. Okay, you're going to say something,
Yeah, and well, I'm also wondering, why did you think that he could do it? Why did you accept Alex, knowing that he only had 10 weeks?
Of course, it's Alex. Well, so Alex was in our 30-day swim boot camp. Okay, that was back in 2020. During the 30-day swim boot camp, he was very, very good in communication. He would tell whether it's good or bad. So, which is what we need. It's a teamwork. If the athlete doesn't communicate, I don't know what's going to happen, right? I don't have any idea. So that's one. He's very good in communication. All I need for him is to just trust the training. And I know there'll be I'm going to show you some challenges, right? But we're going to go through it together. So as long as he stay on track. The next thing also is because it's not only Alex who had reached out to us with such almost impossible goal. Okay. And actually, as a coach, I track my personal record. As a coach, I've helped an athlete to get from sprint to 70.3 in 1 month. And this athlete actually didn't even know how to clip or unclip his cycling shoes, had not even finished a half marathon before 70.3. And then asked me, Coach, can I do a 70.3? Let me show you, because I think for athletes who are actually, like this one right here, if you guys, besides this training, this one will also be like, can I even do this? Well, we have this can from sprint to 70.3 in a month because he had the power of can-do attitude. He never finished a half marathon. He hated running then. And then also he just learned how to unclip his shoes about 2 weeks prior to actually Oceanside 70.3, which has heels. Okay. He didn't know nutrition either, but he finished. So when Alex came to me, knowing that, I know Alex, I know his mindset, and he had this big why.
Yeah, the big why.
The big why was big. And I asked him, do you have any choice? Like, what are you going to do if you don't do this? Well, there's Santa Cruz, but why wait? You never know what's going to happen. Like, stay in present. So that's the main reason. Okay. I believe in Alex. I know we can go through it, and we did it. Okay.
Well, so then now I have a question for Alex then. What was it about feistyfox coaching that made you decide to get coaching again? I mean, you kind of knew what to expect already, but what was it that resonated with you when you were getting the swim boot camp that you wanted to reach out to us instead of somebody else?
Well, I mean, there are a lot of reasons. I mean, just Coach's resume of success for herself and what she's been able to overcome has always been something that's been inspirational to me. I mean, it's insane to me the things that she's able to do. And so, like, I mean, if I could get like a fraction of the belief that she has in herself, I figured, okay, well, I can do something. I mean, a 70.3 seems pretty easy compared to what she's been able to do. So, like, also just the, from the previous coaching experience, I can tell that she is an engineer, right? I'm an engineer. We look at things very logically. You can break down things. You can tell each other things very candidly, right? Like, because I as an engineer, I don't like to waste time, right? So, like, if I suck at something, just tell me and tell me why,
yeah,
right?
Just tell me.
Right? Just tell me,
because
it's always an iterative process, right? Like, there's always it's like this never-ending search for perfection that you're never going to get, but it's the process that's really important, right? And so having someone that can communicate in that way for me is really efficient and really beneficial in the end. And that's why she's always been the most appealing, right? I mean, I don't know if a lot of people on the call in your careers, or at least in my adulthood, the biggest realization I had was that, like, the hardest part about going to work is communication and how you're able to verbalize what you're trying to do, or like how are you guys working towards the same goal. Like, most of the time it's just fighting other people for proper understanding, right? And so, like, to have someone like Shangrila available to me that I knew that I can communicate with on the same level was kind of a no-brainer for me.
Thank you, Alex. It's been great, like, just communicating. And also, this is one of those things that I wanted to communicate to you. A lot of communication is that, one of the challenges that Alex told me, Coach, actually during the first 2 or 3 weeks, I was assigning him some master classes to go replay. And he said, like, Coach, I thought only 1 hour a day. I can't do this one. I just need to work out. Yes, 1 hour, we can make it happen. So, I said, like, I want you to focus just 1 hour a day. Just imagine an athlete with only 10 weeks to go from zero training with 70.3 boulder at high altitude with hilly bike. Okay. And then also the run was, challenging. Even the swim is challenging, coming from zero, right? And telling me, like, 1 hour, Well, that's what we do in feistyfox coaching. Like, okay, the athlete says 1 hour. We said 1 hour, so let's do it. So yeah, so that's one of those trainings that we had to do with Alex. What we did is that we have to focus on the main thing that would, hold him back. But a lot of things are holding him back. So, which is like, I was scratching my head. I'm glad that my hair is not all gray just yet. But yeah, so let me show you examples here, because one of the main things that actually he had problem, the big one, was cramping to the point that he couldn't even finish an FTP test for the bike. Like, he couldn't bike. So, and that's only like 20 minutes.
It was
and he couldn't.
challenging.
And we're talking about 56-mile bike. How could you even do that? Let me show you of how the communication that Alex had done, just to get us here. Okay, so like right here, this was just June 4. One of the first bike workouts. I failed my FTP test because I was cramping during the last phase. He was at the zoo, okay? So with his son, so a lot of the information here. And then now the communication that he was talking about here, like someone who's actually jumping in and actually figuring out what's happening, trying to find the solution of that cramping, okay? So all this ones are communication, teaching about the cramping, and also troubleshooting it. Not just the cycling. One of the challenges also is even the critical swim speed, which is actually on swimming. So this one was about a month. So I can't help but feel angry about the CSS session today. It is worse than before, all right? So a lot of things, it's not going like straightforward. It's not always good. And actually right here, okay? So a lot of this ones are, what I'm trying to say is that during your training, it was not perfect. There's cramping. You can't even run, right? You were, running or jogging or walking. You were at 14, 13, 15 minutes per mile. It was hard.
It was very hard.
Yeah. So now the question, Alex, is that what was going on in your mind, knowing that you have, I think when you started, you only have like about 2 months left, but it's still not going, you can't even like go through a workout without having those cramping be okay, because you've never trained in a while. But what was going on in your mind? How are you able to stay on track and just keep staying in the process and keep, just one workout at a time? Communicate. But yeah, what was your thought process? Because I know there's a lot of athletes here that could be getting frustrated or pressured, or I only have 1 hour and now there's Boulder. Can I even do it? Right? So walk us, like what's going on with your mindset then?
I mean, I think the most important thing to highlight, when you look at the, our communication, was I was telling you how I was feeling.
Yes.
It was not physically, not just physically, but emotionally, right? I think that was the biggest challenge. It wasn't physical stuff is physical stuff. It's a signal. Your body's sending you a signal. Things hurt. Those are easy to fix, right? But the emotional part is something that you really have to manage. There were times where, emotionally I just felt like, this sucks. Why am I doing this? But then you have to remind yourself of what your end goal is. You're gonna fail, right? It's okay, right? I think that was the biggest takeaway I had, right? Or now that I think about it. I felt like crap. I failed at the test. I failed at this. I failed at that. But the biggest thing I've learned in adulthood is those are your best teaching moments, right? What can you draw from your failures and how do you improve upon it the next time, right? Just keep on going at it, right? Even if it's not perfect, even if you get just like 30% of the way done, you got something out of it. You grew somehow, right? And that's been that was what got me through it, right? Like for instance, we got that FTP test failure. Yeah, I was really pissed about it. But then the next week, I think it was either the next week or the week after, I did like a 35 or 45 mile ride outside on my tri bike, right? Right. And I was like, okay, I feel good. It's not the FTP where I was, right? That was another thing, that I'd mentioned, was that, I had said I was in the fittest shape of my life in 2020, right? So I had all these expectations for that Ironman back then. That was something that I learned to let go over those 10 weeks. It's just like, And that's where the perception or the paradigm shift that coach helped me with was like, I'm doing this as a dad. This is a different, it's not, I mean, that's just a point to fixate on, but it's just a different thing, right? So like, you can't apply those, you have to look at what you are now, right? And not what you were, right? And come to grips with that. And I think once I started coming to grips with it, then that's when I started making progress, right? Yes. So that failure in the FTP test wasn't just failing the FTP test, right? It was also just like, even looking at the data, I wasn't happy where the FTP was, right? Like, I was like, why am I so slow? Right? Like our initial run sessions, you had me doing like 12, 13-minute miles. I was like, oh, I was down at like 10-minute miles before. But then I started doing the workouts. I'm like, oh crap, I'm at a 12 or 13-minute mile, right? Like this is like once I realized that coach knew kind of where I was and I accepted where I was, then that's when I started making small wins. Gotcha. And then those small wins kind of snowballed maybe is not the right word, but it had grown to a point where that belief was starting to come back that I could finish.
Good,
right.
Good. You said a lot of great things there, Alex. You guys get a lot from that, everyone. So everyone, if you're just tuning in, okay, so let me just pull this one. We are talking about it's a very, very good topic, getting back to your old, and I lost it. So let's go back there. Okay, getting back your old athletic self after years of no training. So we have Alex here from North California, have not met him in person, who finished Boulder 70.3 from zero training to finishing, to actually crossing the finish line in just 10 weeks training. And he just mentioned the challenges, like what's happening to his mindset, especially when he was having a hard time during the first 4 weeks of the training, because he only has 10 weeks. And what he said is that basically adulthood, you would fail. And it's about what you learn from that failure. Okay. That's one. The next one is that acceptance. Okay. He was going back to how he was back in 2020. He knew completely of like how he was back then, and he wanted to be that, but then he was not there just yet. And he needs to be present of where he is at the time current, And when he saw, and it's actually that acceptance is actually knowing that he's doing it as a dad, training for Boulder 70.3. That's when he started winning, when the acceptance of it. Okay.
Being patient, sharing the emotions that come up, the frustrations that come up, and having somebody there to sort of keep you accountable to what's the next step.
And that it is okay to feel that way. And that it is okay to feel that way. I mean, I would feel the same thing. I did the same thing before, a long time ago, when I didn't do any cycling at all. I look at my FTP. I mean, even just looking at my power. Why is this low? Why am I so slow? I don't like looking at this power. That's why I could relate to Alex. Mm-hmm. And then it's not just, emotionally, physically as well. But then I think throughout the time, throughout that 10 weeks journey, your mindset and then your perspective of how you're training, it got better and better. Alex. All right. Mm-hmm. Good. Next, let me see here. Oh, here you go. Nutrition. We're going to talk about nutrition next. All right. So this is one of those things that I actually pulled up. Welcome, everyone. If you're just tuning in, #live, say hello. If this is your first time, we are doing this live training. So right here, one of those things. So again, this is another report. So he shared, we don't help athletes just for swim, bike, run training. We help them with nutrition, and we don't help them at the race. We help them on every workout, especially if things are not going well. So he was telling me about, I ate bag of sport jelly beans, drank 2 bottles of water. So he's telling me exact information about his nutrition. So now, whenever an athlete shares their feedback here, there's a lot of feedback. I want to know more. I want to understand where you're at. How much of that package do you have? Do you have an electrolyte powder? What was your initial weight? How about your after weight? Were you tucked during entire 20 minutes? What part of the workouts did your quads cramp? Very detailed. Why do we do this? Because we want to troubleshoot. Okay. Because we need to solve the problem. Like if we have a problem, a good thing, and I like this thing because I'm an engineer.
Who
And
else right now is experiencing some challenges with nutrition right now? Put
Yeah.
it in the comments. Let's see.
Because we actually have a free training, another training about nutrition, wherein I discuss the 4 things that you want to make sure that you have every hour, and discuss more details on that training. So if you want that training, put #nutrition, #nutrition, so we can actually give you access to that.
Yeah.
So right here, again, a lot more. It's like, and this is the part wherein Alex mentioned earlier, like communication is very important. This one is all Alex. And why do we do this? This one is in the group because our community is a learning community, you know? So like all these details, I want the what, amount, timing, that's the nutrition. All these ones are all about nutrition. So now with only 2 months left, coming from zero training, we do know that we also have an issue with the nutrition. Okay. Fast forward, what do we do? So first of all, I need to understand. So for you, if you are training for 70.3, definitely Olympic, you got to start getting your nutrition dialed in. Definitely Ironman. You want to not be on survival mode, okay? Because it's almost the entire day. Well, yeah, entire day and night. So nutrition is very, very important. And so what did we have to do here? So fast forward. Yeah, it's a lot of details. So my suggestion is really get into that hashtag, put #nutrition if you want to learn more about this, but I'm basically telling you more information here. So this one, I believe there's several of them here. Then we have nutrition hot seat, but here you go. So here I'm telling him exactly what he needs to drink, eat during breakfast, how many hours before the start of swim. Okay. How many, what does he need to eat and drink during the bike, on the run, okay, during the training. And this one is that one was already about 4 weeks prior to the actual 70.3 boulder.
So you had a lot of chances to practice it, try it out, see if it works.
So for you all, are you training your nutrition, and how are you training your nutrition? Okay. So let me ask Alex, how was this process for you in terms of dialing in your nutrition the very first time? Like we had to like get a lot more information and actually have this plan and for you to follow it in your Boulder 70.3. How is nutrition for you?
Well, it was the most empirical approach that I've ever taken. I mean, you pointed me out in my training peaks, this form to fill out. And,
Yes.
We were calculating sweat rate and stuff like that. I had never done that before. I'm a heavy sweater, right? So like, so just doing that gave me a ballpark of how undernourished I was on the bike. Like just doing the pre-calculation. I was like, the reality was I sweat a lot and I'm a heavier guy. And I need to carry a lot of stuff on the bike, right? I need to carry a lot of stuff with me to keep going. I'm not gonna look like, these guys that are finishing in 5 hours or something like that, that are half naked. Like how do they even eat, right? Like when do they eat? I don't see them carrying anything, right? Anyways, where I'm carrying what feels like, a full satchel of food. But anyways, but yeah, just going through what we needed to do. I mean, they always say in triathlon that nutrition is the 4th discipline, right? I knew that, but I never really looked at it that hard. I thought I could get by on whatever they had at the aid stations and stuff like that. Oh, they have bananas and peanut butter jelly sandwiches. And they have Gatorade. It's the sponsored electrolyte drink of Ironman. It should be okay, right? But it's not. So, and you really, triathlon's really, what's really helpful about in triathlon is rehearsal, right? And so when we had gotten a plan together and I was able to rehearse it, I could actually, like, just from a data perspective, from an engineering perspective, just say, I took this, and this, and I didn't feel like crap, right? Or I didn't feel like bonking, right? Like,
Mhm.
you know, and so that was a really important thing for me, not only to feel good during the exercise, but just mentally to say, it's like, okay, this is another thing I'm really worried about, but I think we got it under control, right?
Yeah.
Like, just stick to the plan, execute to the plan. And if something goes wrong, something goes wrong, but at least you have something to execute to, and it doesn't feel like absolute chaos, right?
Gotcha. Yeah.
Um,
Looks like it also built your confidence then, because you did it, you rehearsed it, and you felt good about it. How did it go in your nutrition in Boulder 70.3? Did you feel
I
like
mean,
you
it was, yeah, it was
good?
automatic, right? The less things you have to think about,
Okay, good. Awesome.
the less things that you tend to worry about, right? So like when things are more automatic,
Yes.
then you can channel your nervous energy to something else, right? So
Yeah.
like, you know, I had a hard time on the swim. I really struggled on that swim. I
Mhm.
mean, that's a different story for another time. But
Yeah.
I got out of the water. I was just happy to be alive, right? I got out of the water. I was happy to be alive. But my first thought was, okay, I need to eat. I need
Yes.
to get into transition and execute the plan. Get my jelly beans in. Get my shot blocks in. Get my electrolytes in. Get my
Yes.
ass on the bike. Get out, right? Go, right? And then I could think once I was on the bike, right? And so yeah,
Yeah.
by the time I was riding on the bike, I
You
didn't
were done.
really worry about all that stuff because I just kind of did it already. And that was because we had a plan, right? And so
Automatic. It was automatic. It's like a habit because you kept repeating it, rehearsing it. Awesome.
yeah, and so on the bike ride, in talking to you guys, I told you I felt really good about my bike ride. It was a really
Yeah.
strong bike ride. I
Yeah.
mean, the average power over it was like 153 watts, which was really good considering, again, it's just been 10 weeks. And they say like for Ironman 70.3, you should be doing about 75 to 80%, 5% of your FTP. So based
Mhm.
on that 153 average, I was doing around a 200,
Yes.
that's a 200-watt FTP, which when
Yes.
we started 10
130,
weeks ago,
140.
it was like
It was really
130,
low.
140. So like for
Yeah.
me, I was just like, holy crap, right? Like it felt really good. I mean, that was honestly, that was analyzing the data afterward, but like, I had it on my bike computer. We had wattage ranges. I executed to the wattages that we had set out, and
Mhm.
the result was good. I was passing people up. I was an arrow pretty much 90% of the time. That was
Awesome.
nowhere near that, when we
Yeah.
started, right? And so
Yes. You cannot
I
even do
was,
an arrow when you started, you know?
yeah,
You're,
well, because my
it's
gut
not
was in the way,
comfortable.
right?
Yeah,
But I mean,
you're
so
uncomfortable.
yeah, I was uncomfortable, right? I had to make adjustments to my bike. I put in some shims and stuff like that, to help
And
raise my position. But like,
you
uh,
also beat your PR in
mhm,
comparison to your Santa Cruz back then, 2015, right? With
yeah.
only about 10 weeks of training. 10 weeks of training, you beat your PR by 20 minutes on the bike.
Mhm.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good. All
So yeah,
right.
I kicked ass on that bike. It was great.
Yeah. Awesome.
Right.
All
But
right.
but
So
again, just to stay on topic, it was automatic. Like the nutrition was
yeah,
automatic. I was eating everything on time during the ride. I mean, we had estimated like what the bike ride was gonna be. I
yeah,
just stuck to that. I was trying to get ready for the run, and yeah, it
good.
went off really well.
Awesome. All right. You guys got a lot from that because a part of it is actually how do you execute a really, really good race,
Yeah,
Well, one
there's
of them is actually or nutrition also is for you to actually rehearse them during training.
lots
Okay.
of really great nuggets. Put them in the comments so you have your own notes there. You can
Okay.
remember.
So now during the race week, we're almost done actually. During the race week, a lot of things happen. And for some other athletes, they would see it as a bad sign. Maybe I shouldn't do it. And maybe because maybe 10 weeks is not enough. And Coach Shangrila is just talking crap. All right. But you're ready for it. But so during the race week, um, Alex actually experienced several things. He was already at Boulder. He's experiencing some digestive issues. And also, it was like few days, handful days, I think 3 or 4 days since before Boulder 70.3, he was feeling something on his knee. Suddenly, he didn't even do anything. And then suddenly also with the Achilles swelling up during race week. And so part of what we do with Feisty coaching is that we help our athletes. So this is basically one of his reports. Hey, coach, this is what happened. My left Achilles is really swollen. This one is August 4. Okay, I think he reported August 4. Yeah, August 4. When he woke up, and his race is when? August 6.
That's crazy.
2 days.
I'd be so...
And actually, August 3rd, or even on early week of race week, he was telling me about digestive issues, and there's also knee pain, about 3 days prior.
Issues with breathing in wetsuit. Yeah.
Yes, and issues in breathing in wetsuit because it's a high altitude. Okay, all this one's happening, and then so what we do here is that we walk through our athletes, because in Feistyfox coaching, it's basically we help our athletes in several things. So let's do this one: training, nutrition, body maintenance, mental fitness, race strategy. So we talk about training, nutrition. Part of it is also body maintenance, making sure that the athlete is okay. Okay, so right here, so all these ones we suggested for Alex to do, not just me, we have also our assistant coaches. So basically chiming in, and also even one of our athletes who experienced some swelling on the Achilles recently. So it's a team supporting Alex, rooting for Alex, making sure hopefully that we can actually really solve it. Okay.
How did that feel, Alex?
That you have the crew, the team, like rallying.
The support? No, it was great. I mean, it was something, right? I mean, in that situation, it's really easy to become hopeless, right? I mean, I was feeling really crappy. I mean, I didn't know if I was gonna like explode on the bike because of my digestive issues. I didn't know if I was gonna get through the swim, because I had never had a panic attack in the water before. I mean, the Santa Cruz swim is crazy. You're in the water, it's salty, there's waves, it's cold. And in Boulder, it's a reservoir, flat swim, the water temperature is nice, but I had freaked out in that. So like in my mind, I'm like, what the heck is going on? Now my ankle's swollen, and I was freaking out. And just to have that support to be able to go to just really helps like calm my mind, because I think the more important than that you showed on the screen was all the guidance that you helped get my mind settled for the swim. Right?
Good.
Because I'd never freaked out like that before. But just to that vein, just having that support was really critical for me, just to get up on race day and say like, I'm gonna go for it, right?
No matter what. And actually, you went to the start line. You were excited, right? And you going back to this one. Let's show everyone. So this one was just the Boulder 70.3 with only 10 weeks of training, coming from zero training, not even knowing whether he'll be able to go to the start line, but he did. Okay, that's his family, his little one, his family, his sister, his mom, his nephew. The main reason why.
The reason he did this.
The reason why he did this. And he was so happy. How do you feel that you actually went through it? From then 10 weeks ago to now, that you actually crossed that finish line, besides you getting that medal, right? What else? Yeah, that one. Show me that. So, what else resonates with you? Like what are those aha or learnings for you during that?
I did it.
Yes.
I did it. I asked for help when I needed it, and I got it, and I accepted that help, right? I think a lot of people have a hard time accepting help, even after asking for it. Like, there were a lot of things I had to let go in the process, and I'm really proud that I was able to do it, because I did it. It was hard. It was really hard. I mean, everybody knows this event, these things are hard, but
Yeah.
like once you do it, it's like the best feeling ever. Like it's a validation, right? And even if you don't do it, just doing the training and stuff, like it feels good, right?
Right.
And
Especially you're
just
back
just
doing what you used to do. I mean, the last time that you did your last 70.3 was 7 years ago. And actually
so I
doing
mean
it with
it's
only 10 weeks as a dad. That's
yeah.
amazing.
I mean, it's a sport of will, right? I think that was the other thing I was trying to prove to myself, is that I still have the will to do it,
Yes.
right? Like
Yes.
it's not just physical. You just got to put yourself out there and do it. And don't be. We mentioned it earlier. Don't be afraid to fail, right? Because there's always something that you can
Yeah.
learn from it, right?
All right.
So yeah.
Thanks, Alex. So
Mhm.
everyone, if you're getting a lot of value, put hashtag value and let's thank Alex. This is what we do in Feistyfox coaching. We help athletes like Alex wanting to go back to triathlon, having their confidence go up and actually feel good about themselves because they know they're supported, not just swim, bike, and run, because swim, bike, run, yes, it's great, but for you to actually feel good that you're covering everything, we need to make sure, okay? And I did show this one earlier. We need to make sure that you are covering this one, okay? Training, nutrition, body maintenance, mental fitness, and race strategy. We did mention some of the free training that's available in our Ironman and Beyond. I said that my personal record of having a person actually finish 70.3 is 1 month. So if you want to look into this one as well, I mentioned this one. Ken used to not, actually, he never finished a half marathon, and he finished his first half marathon here, did not know how to clip on clip, but he learned how to clip on clip 2 weeks prior, and he also finished 70.3, okay, in a month. So we also mentioned about nutrition. If you also want to dial in your nutrition right now so you can rehearse and be ready like Alex, okay? So we do have that too. Put hashtag nutrition for that. And for this one will be, let me make sure. Yeah, just put 70.3, hashtag 70.3 for this one. Okay, hashtag 70.3, and we'll give you the free resource. And if you are like Alex who's needing help, please do ask help. Okay, so we have our team, just asking and actually pointing you out to the right resource. Raise your hand because we have a lot of training resource. And also Vineta and I actually give out this free 15-minute call just to talk. What's the next big steps that would actually, just move you to the next steps for your big goal. We do that too. We have other programs, but that is mostly because what we want is for you to actually get your mindset first. Like, are you even ready, or to have some clarity on your goals? So if you want to get help for that one, or how to structure your training, or actually some questions on this that I just mentioned earlier, because we have not that one, training, nutrition, body maintenance. What is body maintenance? How did Alex did not get injured training for 70.3, okay, even with 10 weeks? We have that hashtag body maintenance. Anyways, so yeah, put down below if you want to talk to us, okay? So
Hashtag game plan.
hashtag game plan. Sorry,
That's
I'm not really good about hashtags. I made you guys all confused. But all right, so you guys are getting a lot of value on this. That's what we do here in Feistyfox Coaching. We do this free live every week. So tune in. We're gonna have another one next week. So before we let Alex go, I'm just gonna ask Alex, how about some top three things that you can advise athletes who were just like you, and wanting to get their old athletic self? What can they do? Or like someone who's actually, want to go back to the 70.3 again, or having doubts of themselves, or how to train right. What are your top three things that would help them?
I would say one thing is your time commitment is front end loaded, right? We talked about, just having an hour a day. I mean, the initial week or so, I spent more than that, but as the weeks passed by and I did it more, we were able to fit those things into an hour. So like, prepare your expectation there. Like the stretching routines and all the body maintenance that we did, they take time, right? Almost like the first couple weeks maybe took another hour of my time just figuring out the routine for psoas and all these things. But like then once it showed up on Training Peaks, like you're doing this, it was automatic, right? By week 3, and that body maintenance was really valuable, right? There you have peaks and valleys, right? You're gonna, the highs are highs and the lows can feel lows, but you'll, if you're ready for them, you can navigate those. Let's see. One quote I usually like in triathlon is like, it doesn't get easier, you just get faster. Right. So, and then I think that's kind of how I felt over the training. Like, and at no point did it feel like I had an easy day. It just, you could see it if you got faster, and we saw that progress as we went along. So
awesome. All right. Thank you so much, Alex. And again, congratulations on your Boulder 70.3. I know this is only a start. Now that you got your old athletic self, and now you're actually, hey, I can do this.
Yeah, we got Santa Cruz in 4 weeks.
Santa
So
Cruz.
we're gonna go and do the awful swim in the ocean.
A little recovery, right?
So exciting. I'm excited about what's ahead of you now that you've overcome this huge milestone. Love it.
Okay, everyone, till next week. And if you guys got a lot of value, put #value. Let's say thank you to Alex time. Thank you, Alex. Say hi to your baby, Taiki. All right. Bye. Bye, everyone. Till next time.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.